Hello folks, Mr. Julian here. On September 3rd, the Greater Los Angeles Area Council had a webinar which went over the guidelines for having small in-person unit meetings. This represents the beginning of the return to face-to-face unit activities. In this video, we're going to go over where you can find that information, what is in it, the questions we had, and what happened when we had a small test run with a PAC in Pacifica District. We will also include what forms that you will need, the importance of a tour permit, and where to get help from the council should you need it. Later on in the video, we will cover what happens should a parent or youth test positive for COVID, what you need to do, and how you can inform the council of this. At the conclusion of this video, we're going to include an FAQ, or frequently asked questions, that we had when planning our event. We hope that by sharing what we have learned, it will make your planning far easier. So without further delay, let's get to it. The first thing we're going to do is go to the Greater Los Angeles Area Council website, which is located at www.glaacbsa.org/reopening webinar. Don't worry, I'll put a link in the description below. Once you get to that page, you're going to see a recap of the small group reopening webinar. If you look in the bottom right hand corner, you'll see pertinent contacts of those people you can reach if you have any questions. We're going to go through these points, and then at the end we're going to talk about what happens when you actually have a real event and how these things really work out. Since this is an official unit event, your top leadership should be present. Scoutmaster, Assistant Scoutmaster, Cub Master, Den Leaders, etc. The group size is 12 youth with 2 supervising adults maximum. They call it a consistent group or a cohort, but a lot of people call them pods. Personal protective equipment is a minimum of a cloth face mask or something better. An individual water bottle for each person present. A personal first aid kit is asked for every person present. While engaging in heavy physical exertion or exercise, the distance between people should be extended to 8 feet or greater. And I assume that's because in some cases you're allowed to take off the face mask if you have to breathe heavily to do something. Your preparation should include sending out an email to all potential participants to fill out a new and updated BSA Med Form Parts A and B. Part C is the one where you need to get the physical, so doing Part A and B should not be a problem. I'll talk about this more in a moment. There should be a pre-event medical screening checklist. The unit maintains the attendance roster of participants attending each activity for contact tracing. This is important. Everybody who comes there needs to give an adult leader their name, cell phone number, and an email address. This is important, and I'll cover this more later. Under precautions is a special section that covers spectators. We got into a problem with this with our event, but it wasn't really. Spectators should remain 10 feet away from everyone else and not get involved in any activities. We had a group of 6 parents that came, and they were more than 10 feet away, but they were close enough to the activities that we weren't really sure if they were included or not. If parents are dropping off their kids but want to stick around, have them wait or congregate more than 10 feet away. Have them go 30 yards away. Have them find a picnic table far enough away that they can visit with their own social distancing, and you don't have to worry about your consistent group, cohort, or pod exceeding 12 youth and 2 adults. It's a simple thing to tell people to do. Just have them move farther away. Parents will do it, and you don't have a problem. You have to have reminders of social distancing and masks. Also, marks on the floor is a great way to maintain 6 feet social distancing for events such as Pinewood Derby cars, or cornhole toss, or in our case, our sponge launcher. Okay, I'm going to go quickly through the list of materials that I bring for these events to help you in planning yours. The primary essentials will include sanitizer, and more sanitizer, and as much sanitizer as you can get. If you can find them, sanitizing wipes, and if it's at all possible, try to bring cans of Lysol to spray down cars and other things. Also, bring with you a unit first aid kit, and this is very important, trash bag, and spare tools and extra hardware. People are depending upon you and the equipment that you bring. So what I do is make it a point to pull out everything the day before, run it through, make sure everything is there, make sure it's functioning, so then that way on the day of the event, we are good to go. The next round of essentials to bring is paper. Lots of paper, lined, solid, straight. Also bring with you yourself markers. Also bring pens, small markers, and crayons to help entertain young children that can't participate in the Cub Scout events. Bring tape, lots of tape, more tape than that. Do you have any more tape? Okay, that's more like it. Try to have everybody bring a roll of tape and try to have them different. You're going to use them for social distancing, putting up signs, posting instructions, putting stuff together. You can never have too much tape. Alright. Essentials to get going is a thermometer with extra batteries and a clipboard with lined paper so you can take the roster. If you've got them, bring masks. This is something that a lot of people forget, so always keep with you in your kit a small and vibrant American flag. I've seen too many times where events start by saluting someone's shoulder patch. Right. What families should bring is, if they want to, a foldable chair, foldable table. Everybody should have their own bottles of water. And if they're going to set it up, have them bring their own picnic blanket. Remember, the key here is to have it so that nobody shares anything, so that there's no risk of transferring anything to somebody else. It's important to have your adult leader go and address everyone. Do this after everyone's checked in and had their temperature taken. This is a time where you let people know the importance of having their temperature taken, the importance of having their med forms A and B, making sure that their contact information, talk about social distancing, give the general rules and guidelines on how this is going to work. Most things are the same, but a lot of key things will be different, and this is a good time to do that. You also want to go and have people understand what resources are available to use, the wet naps or sanitizing wipes or Lysol accordingly. You also want to let spectators know that they're free to be here, but have them just stay farther away from the activities so that they don't get confused. If there are rules from the park or the camp where you're at, this is a good time to cover that, so everybody knows what needs to be done. Conclude by thanking other key volunteers who made this event possible. Remind kids that they need to keep their masks on, and let people know that if there's consistent problems with masks, they may be asked to leave the event. Remember, nobody wants to be the bad guy, but COVID is something that's very serious, and you have to be serious when you're trying to do something like this while COVID is still part of the equation. Thank everybody for their time, and then open up the event. From our test, we learned a couple of interesting things. First of all, more people will come to the event than will RSVP. You will have parents who are just interested in seeing what's going on. You'll have families that bring all of the siblings. There will always be more people than RSVP because families are just ready to get out and have a life again. It is imperative that the leadership of the unit is very clear in limiting the numbers and how it works. Meaning, if you have 12 youth to a pod and a Cub Scout who's been inactive for the last 6 months suddenly shows up, you have to go and say, sorry, but try to make arrangements for the next event, but generally speaking, you should never exceed what you have booked. Number 2, youth 7 and older did not take their masks off. They kept them on the whole time. They ran around. It was like nothing for them. However, youth below the age of 6 had trouble keeping their masks on. So keep that in mind. Whenever you're having an event, if it's on public land, such as a park or in a camp, be mindful of the rules and regulations of the owners of that property. Some cities require there to be a permit if there's more than 10 people. Some cities prohibit large gatherings of 10 people in their city. Take a few minutes, research the local COVID ordinances, and it'll save you an embarrassing discussion from a park ranger or the local police. Tour permits in the Greater Los Angeles Area Council, it is required that all get-togethers at this time, no matter what the size, has a tour permit. A link has been enclosed below. You need to go as the adult leader for your unit and fill out that tour permit completely. While it is the unit's job to keep a record of all the med forms A and B and the roster, it is important that the tour permit be filled out and the roster be electronically submitted to the council. It may seem like a hassle, but it's actually for your benefit. Should somebody turn up positive who was at the event, it is good to let everyone who attended that event to be informed that there is a possibility that someone was at the event and may have been positive. This is a first good step by the unit leadership to get the word out there so that families are able to start the process of being tested themselves. Contact the Greater Los Angeles Area Council immediately. FAQs. Most of the questions that we had encountered, we have already included in the video. However, if you have any questions, please leave those questions in the comment below. This link has been given to the Greater Los Angeles Area Council's leadership, and they will be checking these comments on a regular basis, and they should be able to answer your questions. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to the leadership of the Greater Los Angeles Area Council. They will be more than happy to help answer your questions so that you can have a really productive and positive event while being as safe as possible. The original intention of this channel was to go live in January of 2021 as a hobby channel of mine where I could share great activities, gathering activities, hints, tips, and tricks, and low-cost things for Cub Scouts and their adult leadership, their GLAAC. However, with the advent of COVID and the need to get more information out, this channel went live much faster than that. None of what you've just seen would have been possible without the relentless, unwavering support of Mr. Ron Campbell. Mr. Campbell was at the end of the phone for texts and phone calls and emails and a Zoom meeting or two. It is through kindness that great things are possible. God bless. Have a great day.